full transparency, Becky is actually a client of mine. She's inside the Built to Scale program. And so I want to ask you, like, why, when you look for those types of communities or a coach or a consultant or someone to work with, what are you looking for? Like, why do you invest in that?
So I might be addicted to coaching. That might be a problem. I just have had such amazing coaching in my life. And I feel like the concept in general is just really important to me because I feel like there's always something I could be getting better at. And as a solopreneur, as somebody who works by herself, that support is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, I'm just an island and I'm just sitting here by myself, like trying to solve every single problem that I have. And that's exhausting. And I don't do a good job of it all by myself. So kind of having those communities is imperative. I think about it this way, like Tiger Woods has a golf coach. Tiger Woods probably has 50 golf coaches, right? Like he probably has one for like each like club in his bag and for like every shot. Like he has, he has resources. So if somebody at that level still has coaches, then I'm certainly in need of one. So when you and I first started talking, I think something that stood out for me is that the first conversation we had, and I don't know if you remember this, you actually said like, I don't think I'm a good fit for you.
I don't remember.
Because
sounds like
yeah, for sure. And at that time that was probably accurate. And then as we were talking, you said part of it was that when I first reached out to you, I was like, listen, this is my package. And I was selling kind of a smaller package and it's probably undervaluing myself. And you said, if that's the level that you're going to go at, this is not the right fit for me. And so that kind of stuck in the back of my brain. And then as I got more confident, as I worked with more coaches or I worked with more clients rather, and I got more experience and I really realized like, this is the area. And I started to move more to the funnel space. I was like, okay, now it's time to play big. And then I realized that, playing big means you have a lot of resources and a lot of communities. So when I came in, I didn't actually realize how amazing the Built to Scale community is and how many great people are involved. I just knew that you saying that to me was kind of like a wake up call for me. Like, why am I playing small? Why am I playing at a level that's below what I can accomplish? And so I was like, okay, we're going to do it together. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
That's awesome. Because I remember that you were wanting to work with me and I was like, hey, it's not the right time. And so to see you walk away and come back at a bigger level, and now you're playing so much bigger. That's a really cool story.
One of the things that I look for in an amazing coach is that they push me to the next level, right? That's what a good coach is going to do. So you don't keep you inside of your comfort zone. If you're a coach and, you have a coach who's like, well, maybe you don't want to try that. Or if that's hard, that's okay. Like, you're like, no, it's going to be hard. Let's go. And you need to get to the next level because that's what you owe to yourself. One of the pitfalls of being an entrepreneur is that we are the kind of people that don't shy away. We don't say no. We don't back down. We stand up and we say, okay, I'm gonna do this. And what that translates to in our output is that we try to take on every single thing that's a part of our business. We try to manage every part of our business ourselves. And then we get burnt out and we get exhausted. That's when mistakes start slipping through. We don't have the time to invest in continuing to learn about what we love, which is why we got into business in the first place. So we miss all of these things. So I feel like having resources and having support and having help is the most important thing, building out your team, building out your resources. But I also think that even if, you're a hugely successful entrepreneur, having masterminds, having peers, having people who are ahead of you or who have seen that before is always going to be instrumental in what's at the next level, right? Because we get comfortable and then we're good. And then we need somebody to come in, like I said, and say, okay, how can you push yourself? How can you take it further?
It's this idea between like, are you internally able to make decisions? And are you internally taking in what everybody's telling you and saying, okay, this is good, this applies to me, this doesn't apply to me? Or are you depending on someone else to solve your problems? And that's the key difference to me.
Yes.
Because
for sure.
And I think there's also a level of like it's almost like graduation. Not really, but it's like when you first start out, you're looking for coaches to show you how to be a business owner. And at some point there's a transition to, now I'm looking for community and I'm looking for coaching, consulting that is specific to my needs and helps me get to the next level, but I'm ultimately responsible for my own progress.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I love about your program and the things I look for is coaches don't tell you what to do, but they teach you their framework. They teach you the process. They teach you how to do that. But I also feel like every single time you advance in your career, you advance in your business grows, whatever. There's that saying, new level, new devil.
Yeah.
So every time you do that, there's going to be new problems. And so that coach potentially, depending on who they are, that consultant, whoever that is, or your peer group maybe grows with you and everybody's at the same point, or they kind of were already prepared to help you and they know what they want. Or maybe it's time to pick a different person. But I think that there's always going to be that need of like that support system in place. And it's not that you're not doing the work and you're not the one that's doing it, but they're helping you with the frameworks and they're helping you ascend to the next level. And like I said, push you outside of where you think you can go.
I love that. What differences have you seen in your business from starting to work with me to now? Like, what has happened since we started working together?
Oh, that's a really good question. I feel like I definitely have more frameworks that I use in my business that have taken off so much off of my plate. And I kind of take the decision-making process away from me, which is nice because as you know, as a business owner, that's all we do all day long is make decisions. And it is tiring. And there's that phrase or that concept of decision fatigue. So I just need to know, okay, when I get on a sales call, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do steps A through F, and that's it. And then you apply kind of your framework, right? So you apply what you're doing into that framework, and you kind of mesh it all together to make it make sense. But I know what the steps are going to be, and I know if I do these like 5 things every single day, I'm going to find new clients. And I know that I have a much more confidence in applying the frameworks and systems to my business that I know are going to be successful for me.
I love that idea of using systems and process as a way to avoid decision fatigue, as like, this is the way it works. And so I don't have to think about it. I just show up and do it, or someone else shows up and does it. Cause I know you've got some subcontractors too.
Right. And that allows having that systems and having those systems and that framework allows you to scale, really, because I'm not the only person that can do, my direct outreach. And I'm not the only person that can execute A, B, and C because I've built those systems out. So really the goal is to get to the point where if I'm out for a day, anybody on my team can take over and do it the way that I would do it. Which is obviously the right way. The other thing that I feel like we're doing is you've helped us understand what to hand off and what to not hand off, which has been really helpful. And you have a really good process for that, which is awesome.
What about community? Because I know, again, I have the insider track here of knowing that the Built to Scale program has amazing people in it. We've got a really, really high level, high integrity, high performing group of people. How does the community and being involved in a good community affect your business?
Oh, I mean, it's everything, honestly. Every time I have a question about something, I know somebody there is going to like be an expert in that area and can answer my question for me. Right. So it's really helpful because for the first couple of years I was in business, I like call my mom or call my dad and be like, I'm having this problem. And they'd be like, that sounds hard. I don't know what any of what you just said means. But I can jump in the group and be like, hey, I have a question about embedding a calendar into a landing page. And like somebody knows, right? So I think you've done a really good job of kind of putting together a really diverse community, but we all have overlaps, which is helpful. So somebody will be able to answer your question about what you have.
That story about your parents struck me so hard because I think that is something you don't realize getting into entrepreneurship, that it's, we talked about it being lonely before. And even I have a very supportive spouse, but it's like the weight of the business rests on me. You know what I mean? Yes. And there's like stuff that I know and that I do that she just doesn't understand. And my friends definitely don't understand. And so I think that there's like this level of like, man, even if I tell somebody about it, they don't get it. Like, so I'm still alone. And so having a community where you can go and they just get it. I mean, there's huge value in that. Huge.
And even if you have questions about like client relationships, for example, 99% of the people that I know in my life have no idea what it's like to have a client.
Yeah, true.
They've never had one. They never will. And that's fine, right? Like that's 100% okay. But it's just like it's such a fine line, and it feels so precarious to have those issues and like need to have questions about that, or need to like talk to somebody, or even venting is really helpful to people who know what it's like to have a client who's paying your bills.